Peace, peace, y'all. It's your girl B from B&ROSE here. Welcome to the B&ROSE Vision. This space has been activated to support the B&ROSE values, which are art, intuition, reverie, create beauty, truth and love, and most importantly, relationship to self, deepening the relationship to self through introspection, through reflection, through emotional honesty. All right, so I am here with my full moon offering, collective reading for us all. See what energy the collective has been stepping on. And the full moon wants to illuminate, right? She is all about exposing those shadows and coming out of this Mercury retrograde, though we're still in that post-shadow phase. Has been revelatory, and for a lot of people, listen, they said it was tearing their ass up. Okay, so I don't know about you, but my message coming into this reading is universe is never done with us. Her cycles, the lessons of life, the ebb and flow, the ups and downs are a reminder of the seasons, of the cycles, of the reviewing, all right? Even with the retrogrades, that deepening surrender to uncontrollable forces, okay? So as we are attempting to learn from, to go with those flows, go within, learn our lessons from our situations, learn our lessons from the people in our lives, the people who come to stay, the people who come to share and to move on with us on this journey, is definitely reason to reflect, which is why we're here, using tarot as a symbolic guide to open us up to that reflective energy, to that introspective energy. Tarot is being used not as prediction, but as a way to deepen our connection to self, okay? While you're here, please like, share, subscribe, follow. All of that good stuff keeps creators like myself in this space, and we like you here. We building over here, and I pray that you all are in good health, good mind space, good spirits, okay? Even coming out of that retrograde. A lot of people were like, nobody told me nothing. But I think when part of self-awareness has a lot to do with the stars, the sun, moon, and stars, what's happening in the skies, what's happening in the universe, what's happening in the world, you know, are directly impacting us in our life journey. So let's take a few moments to listen deep. I hope to not keep you guys too long, and see what the cards have to say, all right? So I'm over here shuffling the Moonology cards that I've already pre-shuffled and see what messages are coming out. First we have, nothing is set in stone. Nothing is set in stone. Luck is on your side, okay? So we're looking at some mutable moon energy. Nothing is set in stone, luck is on your side, and let's get one more card out just to make this a trifecta for the full moon. All right, so drop me a comment. Let me know how you guys are doing. Any suggestions or any words of encouragement that you have. Coming into this Mercury retrograde, I released the second volume of my poetry book, Daydreams About Night Things, Volume 2, on June 29th, which was the start of Mercury retrograde, and was super symbolic for me because symbology is my love language. Symbolism is my love language. But there's always meaning. There's always more to meaning. And with that was about going back to kind of thinking about the muses and the inspiration behind the poems that I've written, the thoughts that I expanded on, the reflections that I have, because they're all included and are a part of my creative inspiration. You know, it was a lot of tapping into the mindset and the emotional position that I was in when I've written some of those pieces. And it took a lot of reflecting on past energy, you know, past situations that I presumed I had gotten over. But with Mercury retrograde, you do a lot of reflecting, a lot of returning to ideologies, to beliefs, to decisions that you may have made, and, you know, a lot of rethinking, a lot of redoing, you know, looking whether that's a redo in the physical form or redoing and rehashing and conversations and scenarios and things like that in your mind. Then that was my whole reason for releasing that volume then, because there's a lot of old feelings there, a lot of old loves that I wanted to be able to release, to be able to move on, to be able to continue on my journey. And it was my gift to share it with other readers who could understand it from that perspective as well. You know, they may need to journey through their own shadows and emerge into their own light. Some of the wording that comes to mind during that creative process. All right, so let's see here. Let's pull out one more card just so we can get the trifecta. So adjustments are required. We're just gonna go with that. Nothing yet is set in stone. Luck is on your side. Adjustments are required. So what I'm getting here is that at the bottom of the deck, you and your loved ones are safe. So far, you know, I'm seeing a connection here with the nothing is set in stone, adjustments are required. Meaning that maybe this is a time for the collective, you, yourself, to be open to new perspectives, new opportunities, new trifectas, new trajectories. Not new trifectas, but new trajectories is the word I was looking for. Because luck is on your side, and you can see that as not the superficial, okay, luck is on your side, but maybe this is saying with an open mind, with being open to making adjustments, with being open to being mutable, right? Then you will find yourself in an expansive state of mind, and that has the potential to be expansive to your life, to your physical position, right? And that'd be something to consider in this this full moon, with that light kind of like exposing the emotional parts of ourselves that we like to keep hidden, exposing those shadows, causing us to journey more into the unseen, you know. And you can see it as being, oh, this is some type of esoteric, spooky-ish terminology, but it's really not that deep. It's really just putting, it really is that deep, but I mean not that deep in the sense of it being foreign, you know what I mean? There's nothing foreign about introspection, you know, self-awareness, becoming more familiar with who we are, how we feel, how we think, and with emotional honesty being one of the primary objectives of B&ROSE, then it's imperative that you check in with you. All right. So I'm going to get into some tarot, and we'll just see what more we can do to expand this message. Thank you, Spirit. What else does the collective need to know? What else, what other energy is the collective needing to explore during this full moon cycle, which is happening in a few days here, and closing out of Mercury retrograde, where things may have felt a bit congested, a bit heavy. Give us more insight and a message that the collective can use. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. Okay. So far out we have the Fool. Okay. The Fool on his journey. On his journey of new beginnings, right? Of nothing being set in stone, okay? Followed by the Page of Cups. All right, so maybe the collective is looking at that Fool's journey, which energy of the Fool, Uranus energy, Aquarius energy. You may be an Aquarius watching, I'm not sure. I'm not picking up on that so far. And then followed by, we have the Fool, the Page of Cups, followed by the Nine of Wands. So you've definitely been experiencing some resilience, maybe having to reinforce boundaries, maybe just kind of going through some point, a period in life that's been a bit disappointing, right? That's kind of feeling like, you know, you've been down, but you're not out. You know what I mean? You know how life can kind of get heavy to where, you know, he's leaning, he's tired, he's wounded, right? But he's still standing, all right? So some time of perseverance. However, with that Full energy leading out, then this new beginning is definitely something that the collective has earned, right? Is looking forward to being curious about that next bold step in life, right? And ready to make, you know, those adjustments, because having to reinforce your boundaries, having to prove that you are, you have the courage to be persistent in the journey that you're currently on. Okay, let's see here. Let's see what else we can get here. Thank you. One more shuffle here. Okay. Following that, we have the Seven of Cups, Judgment, okay, clarify this. So I'm seeing here is that what I'm kind of getting from this Full energy, and you know, the Seven of Cups is definitely a lot of wishful thinking, a lot of daydreaming and searching for purpose, right? And the Judgment being here is also calling in that new beginning. So I'm really seeing that, you know, the collective is absolutely in this energy of wanting something new, wanting to experience new love, whether it's with love, whether it's just a new creative vision. You know, it doesn't have to be getting a lot of love energy here. Maybe that's just where the collective is, you know, whomever I'm speaking with is looking for a new connection. It's probably been through some relationships that have been, you know, inspiring this Nine of Wands, of just being a lot of trying and it not working out, and ready to, with the 7 of Pentacles here, ready to reap the benefits of their labor. You know, maybe you feel, maybe you've been that good partner. You know what I mean? Because this is more perseverance when you think about it. It is kind of conjoined to this 9 of Wands, where, you know, I'm a bit disappointed, but I'm still doing the work. I'm still hanging in there. I'm still courageous about the effort that I'm making. I'm still thinking about the long haul. I'm still making those investments, whether you're investing in yourself, but you don't want to fall to illusions. You don't want to be in your head and, you know, or maybe you feel as though you have lots of options and you just want to make the right choice, right? Because you've been in a position where you've made choices that may not have been the best for you at that time. You know what I mean? But the Judgment being here is saying that you have, depending on how you're looking at it, right? Maybe with this luck being on your side, there is a reckoning. You know, Judgment is a representation of absolution, right? This is a cycle being completed and putting yourself in position for the new. And that new is going to be merciful for you. It's going to be a balance of polarities, right? Which kind of conjoins to that nothing is set in stone. You know, with adjustments being required, may not necessarily be you making adjustments, but if it is, that adjustment is to persevere, you know, to continue as you have been, to think about the long-term view, I'm just pulling from the bottom of the deck here, to not allow yourself to be deceived by negative thoughts, right? That's what I think about with the 8 of Swords here. Don't find yourself being negative about the times that you've tried and it just didn't work out. Sometimes it's like that. But where you get to pat yourself on the back about is that you were able to see what wasn't working and make the necessary adjustments. Make those adjustments. If it's a relationship and you saw that this wasn't going to be a good partner for you, then you were able to say, this is not going to work out for me, and you can move on. Because you're looking for that which will nurture you, or something that you can nurture, something that you can invest your love, your time, your energy into, and see the benefits of it. And it looks like with the way this energy is moving, then that's exactly where you'll be headed. Because here we have the 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups is fulfillment, right? And is saying that it's a proof of a wish come true, of a manifestation being revealed. It's contentment and satisfaction. So what you're headed towards is that satisfaction that you have been seeking, okay? So don't be caught up in the illusions of what you, whether it be loneliness, right? If you're single, then you're feeling like maybe you're kind of rethinking your terms and conditions, of what you need in a partner, right? You're allowing yourself to, maybe you feel like, okay, maybe my boundaries are too rigid. Maybe I'm not allowing myself to be more open to new experiences. But if those new experiences, put this down. If when you falter, when you change your mind, this is, you know, when you say, okay, maybe, you know, they don't have to have their own place. Maybe they don't have to have a car. Maybe they don't have to have a job. When you think about what those things are, it's not just about maybe, you know, it's not just about being, I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but it's not necessarily gold digging. I don't even want to say that because that's so far from that, right? So basic thinking. But when you think about somebody having those things, it's not just about what they have, it's what it represents. It represents responsibility. It represents being able to maintain a home, being able to stand in, you know, in a responsible type of way. Can you pay bills? You know what I mean? Those are things that are not just about that superficial covering. It's really deeper than that. You know, there is much more that it represents. It represents whether, like I said, they can be responsible, whether they're in a position to be emotionally and financially intelligent enough to hold a relationship. You know what I mean? So when don't be caught up, don't be misled by the illusions, right? Don't find yourself misled, because if you are putting in the work, you know, you're trying to better yourself. This is you taking care of your mental health. This is you taking care of your physical health. This is you taking care of your financial health, putting yourself in the position where you're feeling like, I feel like I'm a good catch. I feel like I'm doing the work. Are you gonna take that work and put it into something that's not gonna be fulfilling for you? Putting, you know, and like I said, you know, we've all been there. We've all been like, okay, maybe my boundaries, or maybe my requirements, maybe my list is too long. But there's always a deeper connotation to that. Like I said, if you're looking for the basics, car, house, job, career, you're not just looking at it in a superficial way. You're looking at responsibility, maintain a home, maintain bills, taking care of yourself, having the space and the capacity to hold another person's space in your life, you know? And maybe that's the way you need to look at it, okay? Because at the bottom of the deck is about perspective. You know, it's all about perspective. And yes, you've had lots of painful endings. You've had lots of pain, you know, you've been disconnected and contemplative. You've done that. You've done all of that type of stuff. You've been to where you have, you know, I would say you've reinforced your boundaries. You know what you have to offer. You want to make sure that when you share, it is with someone who can reciprocate, you know, can match you where you are, see your value, and understand what it took for you to get there. But this is not from a place of control. I would not do that. I would not say from a place of a scarcity or a lack mindset, because this can be seen as either way. Then that is what's going to make you, that's going to reinforce that negative ideology of that illusory of, you know, maybe my boundaries are too rigid. Maybe I just need to try. Do I play well with others type of deal? Because when you steadfast, you know, you have the opportunity to build something that is sturdy. You have your contentment. You have something that supports that 10 of Cups. You have what will support it. So stay focused. Stay focused on your healing. Stay focused on what is going to bring, what is going to continue to reinforce the current outlook you have about what's going to be good for you. Because you're on the right path. You're on that right path to fulfillment, okay? And I'm gonna leave it here. I don't wanna run long. I'm running longer than I expected, but we'll leave it here. And since the full moon is in a couple of days, the peak of it, we're already in the throes of it, okay? Then be welcoming to that energy. Be open to making those adjustments of healing yourself, of being open to the new possibilities. But these new possibilities, these new beginnings are not going to tell you to, what's coming in new for you is not going to be a direct challenge or a direct opposing situation to what you've built, to what you know is sustained, you know? So yes, be open to new connections, but those new connections that are coming are going to reinforce your boundaries. They're not gonna cause you to choose negatively, right? So stay in your higher mind, stay on your grind, stay focused, all right? Stay focused, but also not rigid, okay? Talk to you soon, all right? Peace, get out of here.